Welcome to another episode of Husbands Watching Housewives. I'm Scott.
And I'm Jeff.
And we just watched an episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
We sure did.
It's still Porsha's birthday.
Still in Nashville.
Still in Nashville. So it's crazy not recording multiple episodes every week. Now that we're just one housewife show a week, it's crazy. And this week has been a long one.
It's been a long week.
Yes.
Yes.
This week
has drained us
for sure. We had some cat issues. They're fine. The cats are fine, but
and she would say, "The cat?"
Yeah, no.
Not the cat.
We don't have that cat.
No, we have two cats, and there's one cat, Maeve, who had the issue.
Yes, so it's very worrisome. Like I've always. Growing up, my mom always took care of the pets and stuff. And like, yeah, you get attached to them, but like I've always been a little like at arm's length. And like when I think about, because one of our cats is older, like going to be 13 in July, and the other one is 6 right now, 7. Yeah, and so like one of them was older. So when we got them, we knew there was an element of like, well,
limited time.
Yeah, exactly. So but I was like, oh, whatever, it's gonna be fine. And then this week with these health issues with the cat, I've just found myself weirdly emotional about it.
It's just because it becomes really apparent,
mortality. And I think also I don't think I'm being weirdly emotional. I think I'm being appropriately emotional.
Very much so.
Surprising. I thought I would handle it better, and it's just so nerve wracking because the cat can't tell you what's going wrong. So
she attempted though.
So the story goes.
We'll condense it.
Will we really? Can I condense the story? I don't.
I could.
No, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Because I feel it's appropriate. So first off, I was offered free tickets to a Kylie Minogue concert.
Let's start there.
This is back on Tuesday. And I'm not a huge Kylie fan. Like, she's a wonderful artist, great musician, great singer. Like, fine. I have nothing against her. She's never really been into her music.
But her one song, All the Lovers, was playing when we first said "I love you" to each other. Just not like we were playing it. Yeah. It was at a bar.
It was at a bar.
That's always stands out.
Yeah. So it's got a place in our story. So I was like, oh well, I got a chance to see this live for free, and get to hang out with a friend I haven't seen in a while. So all that's great, but it does put my old ass coming home from San Francisco at like 12:30 in the morning. So I'm just like tired as hell. I get home and I get ready for bed, and I notice that one of my T-shirts is next to my hamper near the bed, and looks like something cat related is on it. We assume it's barf, as cats are prone to do. I throw the shirt out, throw everything else in my hamper, get in bed, and the next morning I wake up and another one of my shirts, actually a really nice shirt that I every time I wear it, Jeff's like, ooh, you look good in that.
You do.
The shirt is covered in bright red blood, and so we go get our first cat that we can actually pick up because the other cat will run away from us.
So we get Maeve.
And she has a little blood trailing off of her, and it's really distressing. So we call the emergency vet. They say like, well, it's probably a UTI. Wait till your regular vet opens. And so, we're planning on taking the entire day off. Like, oh my God, the cat,
Yeah.
So we take the cat into the vet. We drop her off. We go to work. We end up getting a call from the vet explaining, we don't know really what's going on. Like, it could be a UTI. We're going to get...
Still not clear. We've done an ultrasound. We have to go back for their ultrasound. Could be blood clots. They might go away on their own. Could be something else. We've given antibiotics. She got a painkiller. She's attempting to pee and couldn't pee, and that's where the bleeding was happening. Yeah. Sorry to be graphic. But now she's peeing fine.
Yeah, she's fine. She's acting normal. Like,
she's not bleeding.
Nothing unusual. And that's a smart-ass damn cat.
She pulled the shirt out of the hamper and, bled on it, so we could be like, there's an issue, guys.
Yeah,
look.
Because we have one of those litter robots. Even if we were to look in the litter box, most of the stuff is in the bottom. We wouldn't open the drawer and check that out.
And look for
for anything
stuff.
wrong.
Yeah.
So anyway, smart cat. And damn if I don't love the cat even more for being that
very smart.
But the kicker, the real like head explosion. Would you like to take this part?
So in the midst of all this, we're talking to the vet, and she said, also something. We saw something very interesting. We discovered something interesting, and we're like, what else could it be? The cat's already bleeding, and she says, Maeve is a boy.
That we've had this cat for 5 years. We got her like a week before lockdown of the pandemic, and everything about this cat has said girl. The paperwork, everything. Every vet we took him to, including this vet, and she was like, I'm a little embarrassed about it because I actually do spay and neuters as a specialty, and this cat is a neutered male.
Yes. This entire time, Maeve has been a male.
Yeah.
And we just, boom, yeah. We were just shocked.
And it's almost the dumbest thing to be shocked over, because like, what makes a cat inherently male or inherently female?
It's
like
just the idea in our minds for 5 years that this is our girl kitty.
Yeah, we've been doing a Maeve voice. We've had a voice, a little backstory. But the other kicker, when we adopted Maeve, we found out that she was surrendered as a pair by an older woman. And so she surrendered a pair, and she had a brother named Seamus. And so the only logical conclusion, right, is that we adopted Seamus. And then someone else got Maeve. And so our Maeve will always be our Maeve.
Yes.
And we keep throwing an occasional Seamus her direction, and she hasn't turned around and looked.
Like she was switched at birth.
Yeah.
We're also still like struggling with pronouns.
Yeah, which is, again, the dumbest thing.
So dumb.
Because, again, it's a cat,
But I can't just all of a sudden call her he and him. It
is weird.
Maeve also Googled it is a unisex.
Yeah, it's a gender neutral name in some Irish communities. But so anyway, it's just so weird. We've been telling friends, and some of them have been saying, "Oh, you have a trans cat." I'm like, no,
that's not how that works.
I don't think we have a trans cat. I think our cat, we've just been misgendering our cat for 5 years.
Yes.
So it's been my hope that now that maybe if we gender him properly, he'll be like, "Oh, I'm not depressed anymore. I'll stop bleeding." But no.
Totally separate things. The UTI versus, It's just really, side note, UTIs are very dangerous for male cats.
Yes, if you have a male cat and there's any UTI, like apparently their urethras are narrow and the bad things can happen. So you got to get it checked out immediately. And so, it's just
very scary.
Very, very,
bleeding
very scary.
And everything. And then just like have this like random thing, somewhat a little bit of levity in the situation, but still also it's strange and it's weird and,
But it's also made me like wake up like at every drop of any little hat and like, what's that noise? Oh, is that the cat? Is the cat doing? And then just, I'm still looking forward to tonight and where I feel I'll finally like sleep regularly.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Exhausted.
Thanks for joining us on that story about our cat. I know this is why you tune in.
Yes.
You're like, I wonder how those guys' cats are doing.
Forget Portia's birthday. Yeah. What's going on with these guys' cats?
But hey, this is serious stuff.
It is.
And if you have pets, please hug and kiss them and give them scritches and all that stuff because they deserve it.
They do.
We have our other cat here on the ground right now, wriggling around, wanting some attention.
So cute.
Anyway, the show. Oh, if you are still listening to us after all this, we promise we don't always talk about our cats. We didn't talk about our cats as a couple, but not on the podcast.
Yeah.
But we talk about Housewives. We're two husbands. We watch Housewives. We talk about them. And right now, the only Housewives to watch is Atlanta.
Yes. So, and here we are in Nashville.
Yes. So as the season has been going, I've been a little cold on it, but I think I liked this episode.
Yes, there are things that are very likable about it. Very typical housewives.
Yeah.
Passive aggressive behavior, awkward dinners.
I liked the two different daytime parties.
But yet with a primetime look.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like Brit and Kelly, what are you wearing?
Yeah, I mean that's a strong look for the daytime.
It is. So
what happened? Did anything happen before? Just Drew showed up, basically.
Oh, yeah. Drew showed up. Portia's like, whatever. She's here. I'm not going to start anything with her. Hugged. Happy birthday. It was fine.
Yeah.
Angela's still feeling the heat from the night before because Angela made Drew a thing.
Yeah.
And she's wondering, why am I getting all this heat? Because you made it a thing.
Yeah.
It could have been handled so much better. Now, the fallout that happened later on in the episode,
that's totally
that was BS.
Well, I did like that Drew at least said, "Hey, that's on you. I didn't ask to come to this. You made this thing. So you bringing me up, that was your choice."
And I don't think Angela was doing it to have some sort of a moment and make herself stand out on the show. I just think she was being messy.
I don't know. Based upon what she does later at dinner, I think maybe she was trying to have him.
Well, that was so weird. Well,
it's just so
weird. Why you're going off on that other track when you're on this one track? But
I mean, Porsha was being really passive aggressive towards Drew. Even
not in the beginning of the episode.
No, but kind of when Cynthia was just so what trip should Drew go on?
Whatever she wants to.
Whichever one she wants to. It's
i.e. the one that's not mine.
Yeah. So. I don't know, it should have just been, I feel like there could have been, I mean, I guess Porsha didn't invite her, so why does she have to go out of her way to make her feel comfortable? But so, yeah.
I gotta tell you, I don't drink, but I would have gone on the whiskey tasting one. I would have tasted some whiskey. There was one that was like, description was like vanilla and it had like graham cracker and whatnot. I love a graham cracker. So
I promise you, drinking whiskey, you would be like, that does not taste like graham cracker. It tastes like alcohol.
It all tastes like alcohol.
My RFK impersonation, certainly.
I wouldn't have liked the whiskey, but I would have tried it. And I think I would have enjoyed that more than like doing like let me learn how to mix drinks, Coyote Ugly
first
style.
Off, Coyote Ugly. Like when I went to Coyote Ugly, I was just like, is that still open?
Is that still a thing?
It is. Apparently it is. I know that they used to have a Coyote Ugly in Vegas. I don't know if it's still there, but and I think Nashville is where it started. Is that where the movie was set?
I never saw the movie.
You never saw it?
No.
Piper Parabo's crying because you've never seen her movie.
Where is Piper? No. Where is
Piper Parabo?
Where is she now?
She had that show for a little while. She was on a TV, like a police procedural.
Not Blue Bloods.
Maybe it was Blue Bloods? I don't know. She was on something. But either way, like, I don't know. I mean, it's obvious reasons that, like, not being into titties, like, we wouldn't necessarily be like, let's go watch hot girls dance on a bar.
Right.
Like, if it was hot guys dancing on a bar, I'm pretty sure we'd be into that. But either way, there's a cliched nature to both of them.
It seems really outdated.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, I feel that the three ladies who went to Coyote Ugly had a much better time. Because the whiskey tasting was kind of full of themselves.
I do think they like got somewhere for like a minute with whiskey tasting, and I think with Angela apologizing to Brit, still not like Brit. But you know, I understand though, because what happened to Brit was wrong. Not negating that, not whatever, but and she had every right to like come into that brunch hot. And Angela, you know, she just like left it alone, but she wasn't really like probing. She was like, I don't understand like why your license got taken. You know,
see, that's the problem.
Just asking questions, but not in a shady way.
And I think I don't think that the real issue was that Angela or Drew had a problem with her coming in hot. Like I think they just didn't explain themselves well. The problem was that what she was saying didn't make sense. Brit wasn't making sense. The whole losing her license thing. And we've already gone in. We don't need to rehash that.
Yeah.
But
you know something, when they referred to Kenya, they would just say like, my friend. Are they just like not going to mention her name anymore?
Probably not.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
She probably like told them, I don't want you to.
The producer said, keep her name out of your mouth.
Like, we were sad our friend wasn't there anymore.
Yeah. Us too.
So
I have to say that some of the way that Angela is coming off, I do feel like she and Kenya would have gotten along, or maybe not. Maybe they wouldn't have because they were
similar. Doing well up until
because like Angela seems to have like a lot of the sort of logical like conclusions, and she says them out loud, but she also has with it that like it's, even though it's none of her business, she somehow makes it her business, and you're just like, and Kenya would always do that,
right?
So
and just ask questions. I think though they're trying to like make, and it's also her personality, she seems a bit of like, I'm above this shit kind of, and it's like trying to like cast her as like the auntie, like, you know, the whole like with the window thing later on in the episode, and like she's just not like fun, and you're not the same age as the other girls, and so I feel like they're trying to like put her in that corner of like,
nobody you're boring in the corner.
You're boring and old, and I'm gonna F your husband. No.
I still like Angela, but I think
I do too.
So I don't know why she tried coming for Porsha at dinner. I just don't get it. Like,
should have left it alone. It just didn't make any sense.
Especially when you could tell she came down in a bad mood. Like everyone was like, yeah, this is something's up with Porsha. What I took Porsha coming down to dinner like all quiet. First off, they were all drunk earlier that day.
Right.
They went home, had a nap, got up.
Porsha got a phone call that Dennis was filming with Drew.
Right.
A phone call from production.
Right. But first off, before that, it's hard to re-drunk. So if you've already been drunk that day and you took a nap and you wake back up and you have to get down there, like I often feel like, you know, when it's a long day of going out with friends and stuff, I feel like how Porsha looked. It was like, yeah, all right, got to do this again. And so that was one thing. But on top of it, was it Cynthia said she had a cough going? It sounded like she's congested. That maybe
Yes,
Porsha
very
was,
much so.
like had a cold
Trying
or
to like
something.
not be sick because it's her birthday,
Right.
trying to have fun and like work.
Yeah, and
But,
so
yeah.
she was just kind of like, and I thought what Porsha said about Drew was really in the whole situation. Like, I don't have a problem with Drew. I mean, I do, is what it came down to. But she's like, I have a problem with Dennis. Dennis and I are the ones who had the conversation. I'm not going to take it out on Drew.
Well, the thing is, like, Drew just made it such a drama.
Right.
It didn't need to be like, I'm out. Like, this, no.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Porsche was being passive aggressive. She wasn't really aiming it solely at you. So for you to be like, I'm so upset, I'm so offended, I'm going to leave. And it's like, I love someone's like, sit down and eat your chicken.
Yeah. I don't disagree with Drew that, like, that was what did she
Awkward.
call it? No, she called it like a snarky,
Nasty nice.
nasty nice. It was very nasty nice because just,
Yeah.
she asked Porsha a question and Porscha just wasn't going to engage.
She's like, we're straight.
Yeah.
Well, Porsche said, like, because Porsche didn't want to give her what she thinks that Drew wants, which is a drama regarding Dennis
Right.
and filming with him.
Right.
So she's like, I'm going to save this off camera to yell at my baby daddy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to yell at you because then you have a moment and then I'm giving that to you. And I'm so pissed at you, I refuse to give that to you.
Yeah.
And that's what she did. And then she was like, well, I'm still going to make this a moment. And she looks stupid.
Yeah.
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 Like I've been saying all year long. But that's a whole different story. But yeah, so for Angela to just like, also what
Then jump in and go off the tracks.
yeah, what Angela said felt to me clearly like one of those things, like a producer off camera was like, hey, are you gonna follow up on that whole like thing you said earlier?
Yes.
And it sounded like she was trying and she just failed miserably with it. And whether that's because she didn't deliver it properly or
She
because
didn't.
Porsha shut it down or both. I mean, I think it was a combination of both.
Yeah.
So, but also like, it's just the dumbest thing. Like, what do
And
you,
Kelly's like, why are you bringing me into this?
Yeah. why it didn't need to be answered the first time. Like does anyone want to know that?
It doesn't matter because it happened so long ago.
Yeah.
She got married to,
Simon.
thank you. Now they're getting divorced. So it's a moot point. This isn't like 3 seasons ago when it would have mattered. And if Farrah had been on the show, it would have mattered. But
Right.
none of these elements are playing a part. So
Yeah. So don't try and make it happen.
it's dumb.
And so that's where I feel like Angela's is trying to have a moment and is trying to like make her, I don't know, she is trying to make her brand,
behavior
so to
is-
speak,
yeah.
being like, I'm coming for Porsha.
Her behavior, well, she's also irked that Porsha like made that joke, like, oh, I heard things about Charles, and like then was like, oh, I'm just joking, and it's like, I think she's still pissed about that.
Yeah. And then what happened at the pool and everything. So
That's just a typical Housewives trip thing. These cameras need to be up at all times.
they need to
because
do like what
when
they
you hear
did in
this,
New York and just have cameras going.
yeah, when you hear it secondhand, it doesn't compute. And it's a he said, she said thing. Although Kelly did back up Angela saying that Porsha said I should F her husband.
Right.
And I believe Porsha said it.
Yeah.
I'm sure she said it.
Yeah.
And she's conveniently forgetting that she said it.
But at the same time, like, it's not a serious thing. Like, I'm
not gonna have
sure,
Charles.
I'm sure when it's coming down to it, it's like Angela keeps asking about me stealing Simon from what's her face. Like, she keeps up with that. I'm gonna go F her husband. Like, it's clearly a joke, and and yeah, maybe it's a joke in bad taste, but it's clearly not serious. Like, she's not really coming for your
She
husband.
doesn't have designs. Although it was really funny. And just like, you gotta take Porsha seriously because she will steal your husband.
I mean, she has a history of it, evidently. So, but yeah, it's not serious. Again, it's just trying. I think she's trying to make something where there's nothing, and,
Yeah.
and it's just that mock outrage.
It's very confusing and it doesn't add up. And then it feels disjointed when you're like hearing like this happened off camera and Angela's filming. I want to be like, what are you, Brittany was it Brittany?
From what?
Salt Lake?
Brittany. Oh yeah,
That was her name.
yeah, the one with the high body count hair.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Brittany.
Who was filming them on the
Oh yeah, on
ad.
the
Yes.
bed.
That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
Why would you pull your phone
So
out?
the other thing is that they were like, oh, that's Angela's room, and they clearly show Angela's room at like 1:30 in the morning with the lights off,
Mhm.
and then they make all the point of like pointing to the room. A little arrow comes up on screen, Angela's room, and then they
I
don't.
thought we were gonna see her in the window.
Yeah,
Like freaking Amy Adams in that one movie, The Woman in the Window.
Yeah.
Where she sees the woman like being killed.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing, is like, if you're gonna do this whole production of There It Is, I want to see it at 2:30 in the morning with the
Like
curtain pulled back.
like freaking Norma Bates.
Or Norman Bates.
No, it was Norma. Oh, it was really Norman.
Yeah.
But like I think his mother's name was Norma.
Really?
I think so. Like in part 3.
Okay, if you're watching Psycho,
I've seen them
That's
all.
two.
I've seen them all.
yeah.
Anyways.
No, but that's what I wanted to see. I mean, and then they show this footage of Angela with her thumb over the microphone, apparently inaudible. Like, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense.
They're so weird. And then she like went down and confronted them, and like Porsha like ran away, and
And that's not a sign of guilt, but it's all just messy and like doesn't mean a damn thing, all of it. So
I think ultimately though, they were talking mad shit about her, aside from like her husband, and her feelings were hurt. That's why when Kelly came down, I was like, good morning. And she's like, I'm not gonna be fake with you because I heard you talking smack about me, girl.
yeah. It's been a long time since I think I've had someone talking smack about me to like really know. I don't know. It's one of those things that I expect just happens. It's, like everyone talks about their friends. We've had this conversation before. Everyone talks about their friends to a degree behind their back.
Right.
Oh, the TV came off.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So I just don't think it's all that bad to talk some friendly, like on White Lotus. You're going to talk about your friends behind their back.
Yeah, but I'm sure might have been worse than that. And I think she was just really upset and her feelings were hurt. And she wanted to get the hell out of there with Drew. And also, why are you choosing to put your eggs in Drew's basket? Honey.
Yeah.
Wrong team.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're both from Chicago, but no.
What do you expect Drew is going to do for you? Like when her storyline is poking Porsha and then swearing at her husband out a window. Like that seems to be Drew's entire storyline.
Yeah. So if anything, I would be buddy with Cynthia.
Yeah.
Even though she's a friend of, she's like the most OG technically
Right.
out of the people.
Cynthia was wonderful with Porsha.
That was a great scene.
That was very nice. And hearing Porsha say like, I'm good with all them, but like you coming in and saying this, it's like home, like just, it feels right,
Because she didn't have that because Kenya left.
Yeah.
Left. So yeah, I think the stability I think Cynthia is exactly where she needs to be in this friend role, and like, mediating and offering explanations for people.
Throwing a Bailey cue.
Right. Like, this is what's happening. Like, this is what I interpreted. Do you receive this? You should see why. You should be able to see why she's feeling this way. It's a really great. She's a good friend.
Yeah, that's also what Cynthia's good at doing.
Yes.
Just in general.
Before she took off her lashes, didn't know who she was anymore.
You were like, well, she does look entirely different than her
Eyes really pop with lashes. Who knew?
Well, me and my long eyelashes, they know.
I have long eyelashes too.
So
They're always, I remember as a kid, they were always like falling out and like hurting the crap.
Mine used to like touch my glasses all the time. Like I could, back in the day. I think if I had wire frames, I could make that happen.
Yeah.
Or maybe they've gotten shorter. I don't know.
It was a big thing when my mom would have to blow an eyelash out of my eye because I'd be like, it's stuck in my eye. And she'd have to like blow into my eye.
How old were you that you just didn't blink it out?
I don't know. 6, 7,
Okay.
8.
All right. Okay.
Older.
She's like 14.
35. No.
So, yeah, I mean, I think this sort of drama that was on this week is the stuff that I like. I like, I don't know, the girls' trips are always good because they break up into two groups. They can talk smack about each other if they want to,
Exactly.
or they can address things amongst themselves. So
Which happened.
Right. And then they come back together. There's some dinner drama. There's like, fun at the pool, which is always good to see. And
there's always an activity. Like, let's learn how to line dance.
yeah. Oh, God, that
dude, I'm like, button a button, sir.
Yeah. Also, yeah.
I love how Drew was like, I don't see any eye candy.
Yeah. I just can't imagine being like a white dude teaching a bunch of black women how to dance. Like, what can I
I wasn't even thinking that.
What can I possibly teach? I mean, I guess if you're into country music, like the rhythm and the beat isn't that hard, I suppose.
For Shamea, 'cause she's like a professional dancer.
Yeah. So, but I was just like, oh, this got to be embarrassing. Like, I would be so intimidated. That's all I'm saying. I'd just be like,
That lines, but
But apparently Angela's a bad dancer. That was the takeaway from that.
As was Kelly. God, Kelly. Why were Kelly and Brit matching? They did it twice. First at like the day trip, and then at night when they both were like ripped off some like cowhide from the wall and made it to a Project Runway dress or a coat.
It was actually one of those cowhide rugs that sit in the Airbnb. So they
exactly. She's like,
they had a needle and thread.
Her style's like, let me rip that off and whip around you, girl.
Unconventional materials challenge. So no, they look great. It just I don't know.
Shamea looked great.
Yeah.
And Porsha looked fine.
Right. Oh, Shamea and her daughter.
Oh yeah. That was yes. One, that quite sad that she's dealing with that and she can't be there. And then two, I'd forgotten completely about that PSA that Kenya did. And I think it was interesting to go back to that, and that, someone who said they didn't believe her now is apologizing, and it was a really nice moment.
Yeah, it's gotta be validating, just to be like, I tried to warn this person. I tried to make sure that she didn't go through the same thing I did. She didn't believe me, and now here she is, unfortunately, years later, saying, okay, now I believe you.
Right.
But it's at least someone could appreciate what she was trying to do at the time. So, but yeah, very sad. But yeah, that was interesting. I also forgot. I don't think I was watching back then, was I?
No, it was before we got together. That was 2018.
Okay. But
we were together, but we weren't like watching Housewives together.
I do remember I've seen clips of that and other things, because it was whose mom got involved with it too? Cynthia's mom. Yeah. So I remember hearing that story and everything before as well. So
that's, to go back to that.
Yeah. It does seem to be a not recurring thing, but a current theme this year between Kelly and what she's going through, and then
right. That's why she didn't say anything.
Right.
Maybe she did. They just cut it out for time.
Right. But yeah, other than that deep, heavy topic, I think this was a good, lighthearted. I think everyone was justified in their beef.
And had something to do.
Yeah. And it wasn't just, there was a little bit inflated beef of trying to pick a fight that didn't exist with Drew and all that.
Thank God they didn't bring those other girls from the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
Mix them in. It was too many girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So, well, I think we got everyone.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are we committing to this?
I'm not committed to that. No,
okay.
We're not even to mid-season.
Okay,
I reserve the right.
You reserve the right to readjust. Do you think Angela will move up in her?
She could. She could. Shamea should really move up. I think she'll have more than Drew, but
yeah, agree.
Drew seems like a second seater.
That's a nice way of putting it. Well, either way, we're going to check out, what's it called? Love Hotel,
and see if we want to talk about that show.
Yeah, and we'll see how it goes. I'm getting a feeling we won't.
I think it could be fun. I'm curious about Giselle and if I will like her outside of Housewives.
I think we're going to have to go downstairs and eat some cookies.
Oh, yeah.
We got some hot cookie today.
Went to the city, and in the midst of all this stuff going on this week, went to the city.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, we went to a concert on Friday.
Oh, so I went to a concert on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We went to a concert on Friday.
A Bee Gees tribute band.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We've seen them 4 times before.
This is the 3rd time.
It feels like so much more, but that's because of the Yacht Rock review.
Right.
We see a lot of cover. Jeff loves a review. He loves it.
I really do.
We went on a cruise once, and he was like, "Oh, there's a Motown review."
A Motown review.
And he was kind of lukewarm on the cruise. He's like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to be on the cruise." I think the only reason you went is because we kind of just started dating almost. We were relatively new.
It was a year.
Yeah. And so I think if that had happened again, you would have been like, "No, you go on that cruise without me."
No, you can't go on a boat without me.
So he went on this and he was I don't know. And then we saw that. He's like, "Yeah, Motown review."
It was so much fun.
But yeah,
the best.
So we did that on Friday. Then we had Saturday, we had a friend come up and we had dinner with friends. And then today we had brunch with our friends of the city.
And we saw Sinners, the movie.
Oh, Sinners. Yeah, that's true.
So good.
definitely.
Go see it. It's a really great movie.
Yeah. And don't get up when the credits start. Just make sure you keep watching.
Right. There's a scene.
It's not, you don't have to stay to the very end. Just, you'll know when it's over.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's been a long week and we got to start it all over again. And hopefully there's something about, we'll go downstairs. We'll watch What Happens Live. We'll see how.
Well, we can't because that Giselle's on there.
Why not?
Because she's talking about Live Hotel.
Just not going to give anything away.
I don't know.
I think we give it a try.
Okay.
But either way, we can talk about this next time.
Till next time.